Hello, and welcome to this week's Sunday Musings, where every week I take a few minutes and talk about something that's been on my mind. I also write a weekly blog. You can find that on Medium. The link is right here. I hope to hear from you. I would love to have a conversation and hear your thoughts about the things I speak of. So leave me a message or drop me a note or respond to any of the places you saw this and let me know. Or if you want to wait until the end of this video, you can find a link to my calendar and schedule time for us to have a conversation. So welcome to this week's review. And as it's the end of the month, it's time for our book review. This month, I want to talk about a book that you can see I've obviously read a lot of. It's tagged. It's one of my favorites. It's called The 4 Essential Keys to Effective Communication. Now, I don't think any of us are perfect communicators. I think many of us would like to believe we are excellent communicators. And I think few of us are much better than good. And I think this book is a great set of simple, easy guidelines that you can use to improve your communication style. So it's a super short read, literally 120 pages. You can knock it out in an hour over lunch. It's an audiobook as well, if you'd prefer to listen to it. There's absolutely nothing in this book that should be new to you. If it's new, well, that's awesome. But what they've really been effective at doing is putting common sense things together in a way that just makes sense. And it's really made me think about being more intentional about the ways I need to work on improving my own communication skills, both at work and in my relationships and in the broader world. So there are basically 4 effective keys. And I'm not going to go into all the detail because I really would like if you would pick up this book and read it and let me know your thoughts. But the first is called Empathic Awareness. Empathy. I'm just going to give a little bit of a spoiler that everything in this book is around empathy and understanding how to apply that to communication. Empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to feel what they're feeling, to understand them, to really feel from them what they're saying to you. It also has a small subtext, which is assuming for the most part that people have the best of intentions. And if something has been said that upsets you, it's likely you didn't understand. Hard sometimes when you're in the moment and you're hurt, but it is just something to think about. So empathic awareness is where we need to recognize our own inherent value and dignity, and then also recognize in others that they have an inherent value and dignity. Because if they have that and I have that, that means that we really deserve to speak to each other and to be heard and to communicate effectively. And it creates a desire to actually effectively communicate. The second key is empathic listening. This is where we quiet our minds and we get out of our minds and we stay present in the conversation and we listen fully and openly. We aren't thinking, okay, when they finish talking, I'm going to say this, because that's not listening. We allow people to speak without interruption, without trying to fix things or to change. We just be a witness and we listen. The third key is empathic speaking. This is where we take a moment to clarify and organize our thoughts before speaking. So after someone has finished speaking, we take a moment and we stay silent. The silence does 2 things. 1, it makes sure that they are done speaking. And 2, it gives us a moment to reflect on what we just heard and to intentionally make a decision about how we will respond. It's also a way of giving that silence, of making space for people to take their own pause and think if they want to continue or add additional information. And so when you combine all of these 3, the awareness, the listening, and the speaking, you get to the fourth key, which is empathic dialogue. This is where all parties in the conversation take an intentional decision to speak with empathy, to listen with empathy, and to have a safe environment for a dialogue of effective back and forth. So, nothing that's rocket science, nothing that should be surprising, but really I think it's a good checklist for you if you've had a conversation that hasn't gone well, or you've had a knee-jerk reaction, or you've gotten angry or frustrated out of the blue, to think about, were you effective in the 4 keys of communication? So these are my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours. What do you think of this book? Do you have other keys and tidbits of communication for effectiveness? I would love to hear from you. And until next week, stay safe, and we'll talk more soon.